pick some bonuses for your ego?
Yeah. Can you hear
What
me?
you were saying? I was talking to Andrea. She's supposed to pick some bonuses for her ego flagstone.
Okay. Let me see.
Andrea.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you. Talking to you.
Talking. um.
Your mic is breaking up.
Oh no.
Oh wait. There. You got turn your input sensitivity up. I think.
And you're probably going to be good.
Now you hear me?
Yep, sure do.
Okay.
And you may need to be a little bit closer to your mic, though.
Okay.
Okay, better. Much better. All right. So looking at your character here, you're missing 2 bonuses under ego, and you're missing 1 bonus under vitality. So you get to pick some bonuses.
From the Flagstone website.
Yeah, from the Flagstone website. So you just come over to here, and you go into general rules, and so you need 1 from vitality. So we go to flagstones. Let me look at vitality. Move this up here. And so, you have this list of base stuff to pick from, and then there's some particular specialty stuff you can grab. Let's have another look at your character. See, you were doing a archer.
So, in Flagstones.
I was just taking a quick look back at your character to see what your character was.
Bonus types, right?
Mm-hmm. Flagstone. You want to go to Flagstones? It's under Flagstone General Rules, Core Rules, Vitality.
I found it. So,
And then I was going to look at your character.
Armor type or no?
Well, you can look at a couple of things. Your primary attack type is a range for crossbow. You've got those arcanas are going to change.
Okay.
Because we have to rank those down, but we know that's what you're aiming towards, so that's fine. So you have some stuff there. Maybe you want to look at if you're grounded, root, fire.
Chakra.
So you could get weapon type potency.
Yeah.
I don't know if you took that one already.
Yeah.
Let's see. No, you didn't, right? So you could do weapon like crossbow. Oh, and that's going to give you potency. E rank that would give you an E rank potency bonus. So basically, every time you roll an attack with your crossbow, you would deal 1 extra die worth of damage.
Okay.
So that's a pretty decent one.
So I need to choose 2.
No, now we go over to ego and choose 2.
Ego. So I need to turn back.
Yep. Go to flagstones and then go to ego.
Ego. Okay, so perceptive. I can choose that or
yeah, there's no reason not to.
Okay, I will choose that.
Were you a spontaneous wielder or a prepared wielder? You're prepared. Okay.
Okay.
But
I don't see that. What?
No, there's not. I'm seeing what crossover there is, like what stuff your character has, because I don't remember everything. You've got third eye and throat chakra and the crown chakra. So under ego, you've got a bonus to your CR with third eye and throat. Either one of those or both of those would be good, because that means that whenever you go to roll to see if you succeed in an action, you're getting a bonus to that roll with either of those chakras.
Okay.
I'm not telling you what to pick. I'm just telling you what's good.
Yeah, but I chosen the perceptive, so I need to choose 2.
Yeah, you gotta pick 2.
Okay. Impulsive. If
Protective.
I'm spelling correctly.
Impulsive is actually not going to benefit your character at all.
No. Super ego. Super.
Oh, sorry.
The first one.
Okay. This is your to identify and detect. And the other one you said was which one?
The first one is super ego.
Super ego. CR to
Yeah.
influence. Okay. This will be so much easier when we get the website built.
I can't wait for it.
Me either. It just goes so much faster, right? Like, in the spreadsheet. Okay, so you get both of those E-ranked. Now, for anyone who isn't familiar already and is curious, the reason that these are set up the way they are is that you get a number of bonuses equal to your rank plus 1. Right, so she's got a rank 2 here, so she's going to get the 3 bonuses. She's got the rank 1 here, so she's going to get 2 bonuses, etc. This is rank 3, so she gets 4. With the new change to character creation, you get all the bonuses. You get them for free. You don't have to pay for them anymore, but you only get them at rank E. So all of your bonuses start at rank E. So we need to go back to your character. I need to make a kind of recalculate some stuff. Hey, thank you, Bama.
Wow.
Big shout out there to Bama Purple. And hey, Sir Dialots, I didn't see you in the chat. It's nice to see you. How you doing? And Andrea and Ivan, if you guys want to see what's going on in the chat, just crack open the Twitch, and you'll be able to see the chat. I would suggest turning the volume off if you do that, though, because there's like a 3 to 6 second lag.
You nuts just trying to listen to the conversation that way. Okay, so these were your base values. We take those for a minute. Scratch that. We're going to scratch that. We're going to redo your hit point pools here.
Yeah.
Because there was a change to how these are calculated. The change is that you get your base value at start. So in this case, you get your EDD. So that's 1d6 plus 2. So a total of 8. And then you get, or trying to think about this process. We're just going to zero these out for the moment. XX. XX. And then we'll come back and fill them in a second. So those attribute ratings that you had written down there are the base for your character. With your heritage. So, and then we'll have to check to make sure which of them get modified by your flagstones real quick. In this case, breathing potency. And that's the only one. Your health rating efficiency, breathing potency and health rating efficiency. So breath potency goes up to that. C. That goes up to C. And then we reset all these to 1. We'll recalculate them in a minute. Okay, so now you have 5 points that you can spend to increase your attribute ranks. Right?
Right.
So where would you want to spend those 5 points? Each point allows you to increase 1 letter, 1 rank. And each time you do, actually, let me go ahead and get these in here. So 1d6 plus 3, that's going to be 9 and 9. Let me get your base values in. And then you get 2d4 plus 1, so this will be 10 as your base. This is going to give you 2d6 plus 14 total as your base. 1d6, that's 8 as your base. And then this is 3d6 plus 1, so total 3d6 plus 3, so 18, 21. That gives you your base. So these are your starting values. Every time you add a point to one of these, you're going to get to roll the rating, right? So for each time you distribute a point, you roll the rating, add it to the pool.
So I need to roll on Discord?
Yeah, you can roll in Discord. That's fine. Or I can roll it for you if you're okay with me doing that.
Okay, because the next time I make some error.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me get over to the chat. Hey, there we go. We can roll it right there. So where do you want to add? Which one do you want to add a point to?
From chakras or?
No, into these attribute ratings here. Into this, we're just talking about this section right here.
In fade, if I can.
Yeah, okay. So you want to make this what? Which one do you want to increase? The E, the D, or the D?
EDD.
Which one are you wanting to increase? You got to raise. You get to choose one letter, and you're going to increase it 1 rank.
E.
Okay, so this is going to be a D. All right, so we're going to do DDD. So that is 2d6 plus 2. So we're going to do /roll 2d6, and because we're doubling, it's going to be plus 4 total. I hate the fact that this dice thing doesn't use our notation, but oh well.
Yeah.
So you add 13, that gives you 21. All right, what's next?
Mana.
Mana, which one do you want to increase?
D.
First or second one?
First.
First one. Okay, so that's going to go to C. Oh, whoops. C, D, E. So that's going to roll 3d6 plus 3. And then you get 17. 17 and 14 is 31. Okay. What's next?
Health.
Health? You want to go what? DDC? You want to raise that E up or what?
The E. Right.
Okay.
The first.
So DDC. And so then you're going to roll 2d6 plus. Now you've got a C there, so that's a plus 3. We're doing that 2 times, so plus 6. And for those watching, that the only reason we're doing the math on this last part by ourselves is because the algorithm that the dice roller uses basically puts the parentheses like in terms of math, it tries to do 2d6 plus 2 like this. And in Flagstone, we would do it as 2d6 plus 2 or 3 or whatever. Right. Same. So you get the idea. The formula is slightly different, but it changes the results in a big way. So we have to do that manually. Okay, so that was your health there, 2d6 plus 6, yeah. And you're going to add 14. So you're up at 23. All right. 2 more.
Okay. Stamina.
Stamina, which one are you going to increase?
The last.
The last one. Okay, so that's going to be DED.
Okay.
Right, that means you're going to roll 2d4 plus 2. So total of 2d4 plus 4. And that's going to add 9 stamina, bringing your pool up to 19. Format. So it is plain text. Okay. All right. One more.
The breath is the last one.
The breath?
Right?
Okay. Yep. You don't have to spend it here. I mean, you can spend it somewhere else, but
okay.
Up to you.
I will choose the stamina instead because it's only
okay. Which one are you going to increase? The E to D?
the
You increase that one?
the D.
Or which letter are you want to raise?
D from David. The
First or last?
first.
Okay, so that's going to go to CED. That means you're going to roll 3d4 plus 6 total. And that's going to add 12. So you're at 31 of 31. Okay. Now that part's done. We got to roll this back just a little bit. It's not going to take a lot. That's going to be E ranked. The one thing that's going to change down here is you're going to have to pick one of these to drop for the time being. So which we're going to drop. It's going to drop back to 2 chakras with 2 subdomains, right? So you're going to lose a big chunk of your domains right now, but that'll be just to start your character. That's where the new baseline is.
Okay.
So originally, I think you had chosen range combat, sight, telepathy, and air arcana,
Yeah.
and the other ones we added after. So we could just delete like that, and your character's done. Oh wait, no, we got to do your armor up here. For that, go to the website.
Okay.
And you go to the general rules.
Yeah.
And you go to attributes and pools. And on this page, if you scroll down, you'll see that it tells you for each rank in your attribute rating that it's going to affect your defenses in some way. So potency applies mitigation to based on which pool you're looking at. So your health potency goes to your physical mitigation, stamina goes to social mitigation, etc.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull your sheet out to this other side, my other window a minute, and go through these. Actually, let me do this the other way around. I will pull this tab out. If y'all want to follow along on your browser there. So health potency adds to physical mitigation. So we're only going to look at these first letters because this is all the potency column. I guess be first character here. So health, that's going to add +2. Stamina adds to, it's a social mitigation, which we don't actually have on here. I need to add that in. Mitigation. Okay. Then your fade mitigation is coming from mana, which is E, so that's going to get which is C. So you're going to get +3. So it becomes a 4. Fade does mana mitigation, so you get a +2 there. It goes up to 3. Breath gives you mental. I got those backwards. That goes to +3. Breath gives you mental, and that is a C, so that's going to be 4. Then we move on to the next, which is the range. And I'll put this on screen for a second. So range describes the variation in character's actions, and it's added to the wielder's avoidance, right? So everything here is going to be added to avoidance. Oh my goodness. What the world did you just do? Having technical errors. Loading, please wait. Oh, good God. Well, that was just so weird. I tried to pull my browser over into the other window, into another tab, and it tried to put it in as a sidebar. Very, very weird. Bad Vivaldi. Okay, so physical avoidance. We've got your movement rating, which is over here, your MSR. So that adds to physical avoidance. So this is going to be 3. Mana range adds to magical avoidance. So you're going to get +2 there. Makes that a 3.
Yeah.
Fade adds to fade avoidance. So that's D. That becomes 3. Health range adds to mental avoidance. Mental health being a thing. Okay, then the next one will be for efficiency, and the efficiency covers the character's ability to move quickly and efficiently, and acts as a bonus to the ability impact as well as reducing ability cost, and it's added to prevention CRs. So movement adds to physical prevention, so you get a +2 there.
Yeah.
Mana adds to magical prevention, so you get a +3. Makes that up to 4. Fade prevention is D. It's +2. Goes up to 3. And then health is mental prevention, so that's D. That goes up to +3. Now all your base stats are done, and your character is ready, except for your abilities. That's all you've got left. Oh, wait, no, you've already done your abilities. You're done.
So I still have some assassin character, like last time.
What was that?
I still have some assassin character like last time.
You do. It's more like the newbie assassin character, right?
A newbie.
Yeah. So the fade crystals, the way we had them set up, we were giving everybody a C-rated fade crystal, which is quite a lot, right?
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of every starting character having defeated a mid-sized dungeon, right? So it's a lot of it was a lot of extra resources. But what we found was that it was clogging up character creation, right? It was making it too difficult, too time consuming, and people were getting lost in the math, and it was like too much at once. So we just dialed it back. And the characters seem to be coming out at a reasonable place for a new character, right? Like you've got a decent number of hit points. All your stats there look pretty good. Your base avoidance and things are not terrible. You need to add one up for your
So
armor.
he will receive some roach combat.
What was that?
He will receive some roach combat.
Roach combat.
Yeah.
Killing bugs?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, as you start to go through combat and you do all your stuff right, you're going to collect dream seeds and fade seeds, and you're going to use those to power up your character.
Okay.
Right. So, for now, like your character would be ready to start a campaign at what would be considered level 1. Right.
Okay. So it's a newbie. It's really a newbie.
Yeah. This is for brand new characters. But what it does do is it speeds up character creation a lot. Right? Because now you're not having to go through and try to figure out how you want to spend a whole bunch of points and then do the math and try to calculate down and strategize over, ooh, I've got this many resources and I want all the things, you know. So how can I have all the things at once?
Well, there is a lot of information, so I think my character is a beast.
I think your character's going to do quite well. Because you know, it's with the anime theme to the game. If you think about what the typical brand new adventurer is like in an anime, then it's about on par with you could be killed by a slime.
Oh.
Right? Like goblins can kill you.
Oh.
Right? And that's good, right? I know it seems like it's terrible because people are used to playing the power fantasy game, right? But one of the things about it is that if the world is dangerous and if there's consequences to the character's actions, then the player starts to care more about how they act, right? Like if the slime can kill you if you're not careful, then how much more careful do you need to be if you know there's big monsters around, because anything can kill you?
A slime
So
kill me. Oh, and you said my character is strong.
your character is what?
Strong, like.
It is strong for a starting character. That's very strong. I mean, it's
And killed by.
it's your character. The way we created it last week, looking back on it,
Yeah.
would probably have been about the equivalent of maybe a level 5 D&D character.
Whoa.
Right? So they were strong. In fact, they were too strong for the level or for the range, right? Because we don't really have levels. But it was too strong for the idea of a starting character. But the reason we changed it wasn't because of that, right? It was over the last several weeks, and Ivan, you were there for all of it, right? The people coming in and trying to create a new character was really taking a lot of time, right? We couldn't just somebody jump in on the playtest and say, okay, well, let's spend 30 minutes, get everybody a character, and then play. It was, oh shit, someone didn't have a character, so now we have to spend the next 2 hours making one. And that wasn't really feasible because it was just taking too long. So this meant to address that problem. And it seems to have done so fairly well. I know it's a faster for me because I'm more familiar with the system. So I can say that an experienced player would be able to put together a character inside of 20 minutes. Right? Probably inside of 10 minutes, honestly.
Well, for like me, it will take longer.
The hardest part is making the decisions.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I can't do anything about the individual choice paralysis because, you know, I guess one of the defining aspects of Flagstone is that it gives the choice to the player. Right? There's no preset list of things that you have. Was that?
there is a word for that, creation. So
yeah,
means that the player is creating it.
right, exactly. But if you had come from Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, or any of a number of other games, most games, right, is that they come with a preset class that you have to play, right? So we get away from that. The downside is that if you don't want someone to give you the answer, then you have to provide the answer, right? So if the players don't want the game master or the rule book to tell them what they have to be, then they need to step up and say what they want to be, right? So it's a bit of a thing there. Ivan, let's see, yours was yours Thomas? I think you changed the name. Okay. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't have a tab open named Thomas. What the hell is going on here?
I think sort templates didn't go too well. Didn't age out well.
Right. See, like yours is looking pretty sharp too. You haven't spent your attribute ratings, it doesn't look like yet.
I still have 2 more, maybe.
Okay.
Not sure.
Yeah,
which one?
that seems about right.
Oh, wait, sorry, you said attribute rating, right?
Yeah, the 5 points.
We spent them. It's 0 out of 5.
Okay.
So this is not my character sheet.
The one that you're looking at right there is his character sheet.
They explain all the details
Because
here
I
on the
saw the
slides.
numbers changes. What?
His was another very similar to yours, honestly. You both kind of came very well. You both took ranged combat and air arcana.
Oh god.
The difference is that he went with artificing and wieldcraft, and you went with sight and telepathy. She's the sniper currently, and you're like how Hawkeye changes arrows. It's like, now if you put the two of you together, you'd have Hawkeye.
Fight.
Right, but you're not there yet.
Oh.
Right now, you're two archers that are going to try not to shoot your teammates in the back.
Oh no. Oh. This is very demonic.
I didn't ask if I had a shot. I said I wanted to fire at the orc.
I have this face.
You shoot your teammate in the back. God.
That's why I had my shield have a sphere. I was thinking of that.
It's like nothing personal, but I don't trust you for shit. So I think on the social mitigation, there's rules there for influence already. I think I probably need to update the character sheet with that. Let's see. I think that's going to be attributes, pools, or conflict resolution. Yeah, we have rules in here for influence. I think your social mitigation will just apply to your as a bonus here, right? Whenever you're in conflict with somebody, it just adds to your social interaction there. So cool. So hopefully then, so that makes at least 2 people with their level 1 characters created. I'd spoken with Cammie. She was going to have hers ready, and I'll kick Siegfried in the butt and get him ready, and maybe we can get a campaign going. That's what I'm really kind of looking forward to.
Campaign?
A campaign going, yeah. You heard it.
You're going to die the first session, and then we need to make new character.
Probably.
I had that happen in a D&D campaign. So.
Well, I will say, don't get too attached, right? Like, I'm not going to intentionally try to kill you, but especially during the alpha testing, I can't be fudging the dice too much, right?
Yeah.
Because I have to actually know what the values are, right? So that may mean that your character just gets obliterated. You know, you walk up and you punch the slime punches you back, and you die.
Oh, this is my character.
Someone at the Adventurer Guilds hangs a little black ribbon up on the wall for a week, and then life goes on. Just another unlucky adventurer.
And depression.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. And man, that was way faster, way faster than last week's trying to get your stuff ready. Way faster. So I'm glad to see that coming along. Now I'm just waiting on somebody to be brave enough to play the spontaneous wielders.
I'm a spontaneous with them.
Are you?
Yeah.
Was yours spontaneous?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, sir. You're the first one. Excellent. Excelente. I can't wait to see that happen going on. That's gonna be really funny.
I see a delay.
Huh?
I see a delay.
Of course you do. I told you there's like a 3 to 6 second.
Open.
There's a 3 to 6 second delay between what you're going to see and hear from Discord and what you're going to see and hear from the stream, which is why I was telling you to mute the stream, because otherwise the conversation would just drive you nuts. The constant lag in the conversation will drive you crazy. It's really weird. Okay. You damn guns.
I don't hear two times. So
Okay.
it's good.
But the video delay is going to be there too. See what you don't have to have abilities because you're spontaneous. That's always nice. As a spontaneous wielder, you might want to replace this with like your keywords and the rules for the ones that you have. That way you have a quick cheat sheet and you don't have to keep looking them up, you know what I mean?
You're discussing that, like, probably you would still do abilities even spontaneous, you just work differently in terms of cost.
Not really. That's not how that works.
Oh, I mean, to make it easier?
To make it easier, what you do is you tell that you have in the beginning you have 2 keywords that you can use. And one of them has to be a methodology. Right? So when you tell the GM, like, I want to conjure, and then you can specify one other word from your keyword list. Right? Which means you can't fill in all the parameters and you can't make very complex spells in the beginning.
That would be the ones that I picked already, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anything from range combat, air arcana, artificing, and wildcraft, basically.
Right. So that gives you a pretty good list, though. So, like, if you look at your hello, hey, what's up, Ashton?
Hello.
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 So, like, if you look at wheelcraft, that's going to give you like your research and stuff, so you can sit there and try to research new spells. And you took artificing, which gives you every one of these is a methodology. Every single freaking one of them is, right? And then, but now you had the heart chakra with air arcana, right? So that gives you the aeromancy methodology and the wind whisper methodology and the dampen methodology, and a couple of different effect accents there that could be used in conjunction with any of the methodologies that you currently have. And then you pick which one?
Range combat.
Range combat, yeah. So that gives you your melee, toss, catch, throw, shoot, and aim.
Yeah. I guess I can just make a small list, yeah, to make it easier on the spot.
Right. Um. I mean, really, all you need to know is keyword type, and chakra. Really, or I guess no, you kind of need the subdomain too because of how the bonuses go.
I think it's easier just to copy paste them all there because it's just 4 of them. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, eventually, this is going to be one of those things where we have a box that, you know, whenever the player selects it on the website, it just, you know, attaches the box to the character, because you're getting the whole box of keywords at once, right? You know, like, and it's not saying that you're particularly good at it yet. It's just saying you're kind of learning the basics.
lowers the better dice.
Well, okay, look, like just because you learn how to shoot does not make you a marksman.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. That's part of the reason why with prepared wielders, they always have the chance to fail when they're doing the research. It's like maybe it's difficult for them to learn how to do some particular thing, but once they learn how to do it, once they get the trick of it, they can do it consistently, right? Spontaneous wielders follow this principle of fuck around and find out, right? So they're the people that you would consider naturally talented. They're the ones that are able, you know, for some reason, most of the stuff that they try to do just kind of works out well for them. But if you tried to get them to repeat their actions, they couldn't, right? There's less consistency there.
Yeah. They
now
want
it's
to know
not
how to
that-
explain it, basically.
Yeah. Now they can get to the point where maybe they have more knowledge of it and you know, so more consistency, but they just follow a very basic, different mental process to get there.
Actually, on Wildcraft, that there is a lot of crossed out methodology. That's like work in progress, or
Let's see. Nope,
What's going on there?
They got moved up to the top. They got moved into the base for crown chakra because they're things that every character needs once they become a
they're
member of the
passive
Adventurers Guild.
inspiration.
This actually should be methodology, not accent. It's not that they're passives. They're active things that you do, but they're things that every character needs to have access to. So we didn't want to lock them inside of a subdomain because then that would mean giving access to the subdomain to every player, and we didn't want to do that. Like, the player can pick them up, like they can get the subdomain, but we didn't want to have to give them that by default in order for them to have these keywords that they needed, and everyone needs them, so there was no reason to leave them locked. Because attuning is how you become able to use magical items. And then the REAP methodology is how you acquire dream seeds or fade seeds from the target. Right, so everybody has to be able to get fade seeds or dream seeds, otherwise you can't become more powerful. So those have to be there. Memorize. I kind of feel like that's like basic training for people who are casting spells. So all your prepared, any prepared wielder would need that, right?
Right.
Any prepared wielder would need that. So, how about, let's see. Okay, so yeah, that's where that is. So we moved him out into the crown chakra, so that if you unlock the crown chakra, you have them, or if you join the Adventurers Guild, you can have them. Right? So you have like two conditions there that you can use to get that. But there's the narrative there that the Adventurers Guild protects the knowledge on how to use dream seeds and fade seeds pretty carefully. So if you try to replicate that knowledge, they may just hunt you down and kill you.
Monopolistic there.
Huh?
It's a very bit monopolistic, but
no, it's to them it's a matter of safety, right? The reason that they didn't disseminate the knowledge was because the political leaders at the time were already clamoring about how to weaponize it, right? They were already talking about making armies and things like that using the information. And they realized that it was too dangerous to let that information go unchecked. Right. I mean, it's kind of the nuclear arms race, right? Because that's really what it is. It's like it made it so much more efficient to grow in power and strength that it really was like a nuclear arms race in terms of technology. So the Adventurers Guild essentially tried to be the neutral, apolitical entity that's primary concern was taking out Dragmar and clearing fades. Because those are both a naturally occurring phenomena on Duende. And even the non-Dragmar Dremen can still be very dangerous for populations.
naturally,
Right, like I mean, if you have a griffin in the area, they may be eating all your livestock and shit like that, right? So you need people to go take care of them. And Duende magical creatures abound, right? There's lots of them. So magical creatures got to eat too, And humans are crunchy and good with ketchup. So yeah. Now the other thing is that the scale of the world, the size of the world, also makes it so that the Adventurer Guild serves as a kind of de facto communication pipeline. Their neutrality gives them the ability to move information between countries without interference.
There is a block of text
What is it?
in your stream.
Oh yeah, it's a block of text there because we've
I
been looking around
tried
through
to
the.
read it, but your squares
Oh,
isn't visible.
sorry, it's not that. Oops, wrong button. Let's see. Can I get a better zoom on that? Yeah. I mean, I guess I could go like that. Can you read it now?
Now it's more more okay. And the other square with your tiny
Oh, like that? My tiny pictures?
your
Yeah.
screen.
Well, that's because the stuff down on the screen is the part that we're showing off.
No,
Or do you? Oh, Do you need some? Do you need some more FaceTime, Andrea? Here we go. Let's look. She's like, I'm ready for my close up, Mr. DeVille. There we go. We got Andrea on stream, folks. We can't miss that one.
Not this. Oh! You square. You. Not my face.
Oh, let me put that back where it was. That was good fun. What
The
little
other
square?
The
little blue
tiny
one?
blue.
Oh, that's just where I'm clicking. Yeah.
No.
As I'm clicking around, it doesn't really mean anything. I'm just going through making edits as we're talking, right?
So
You know,
you can't see what they show. Oh.
Okay, hold on. Oh, that's.
See my screen? Here you
Is this?
a little square with a little puppy and is blocking.
Yeah. You don't like my puppy? You don't like my slime?
No, not like that. It's blocking to read the text. It's covered.
Ah, fine. It'll go away. God.
Don't go away.
I like my. He's
down.
like my mascot, man.
Down, not up, down, because I want to read the text.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get your bloody stream off my screen. Okay. What text is it you're wanting to read?
The block of text was on top. That.
Oh, there you go. It's just this is just kind of cut and paste from some website
So
where it's
is that
talking about the different parts of it. This is more for my use than anything.
Oh, okay, I thought it is something to learn, so I tried to read it. What? What?
Yeah. So, now some of this is a lot of that is represented with the time and space arcana. Where I kind of deviated from it intentionally was it makes this statement that there's no sense of knowing, and that just didn't work mechanically. So, yeah. Like this whole geometry block here and the wheelcraft and the artificing are definitely all in the realm of knowing, right? But that's okay because it made more sense there than it did anywhere else.
So this is not someone's spreadsheet. It's yours.
This is my spreadsheet.
Okay. I tried to figure this out 10 minutes ago.
No, so this document that I let everybody peek at, right? This is straight up my design document. This is what I've been using to manage like during play testing and all of that. This is what my play testers use. Because this information isn't on the website yet. If you want to get it, you got to come catch us on Discord and get access to it there. Links on the homepage. But yeah, so yeah, these are my design documents. And we're designing this open to the public. Right? We're not giving away everything, right? But we're going through the main design choices with the public.
Well, science is on stream, it's very public.
Yeah. It's very public. And that's okay. Because this part we had already said internally that we were gonna do this part publicly, so it's not gonna hurt anything.
Okay.
besides that, even the act of streaming it makes it copyrighted. So, haha, for the people who want to try to steal our shit. Yeah, if they want to try to steal our shit, that's fine. Can get lawyers, can sue. Not that I want to be that way, but don't be a dick, so I don't have to be. Yeah. So. Yeah, this is our design doc. So as we go through and we're talking and I'm making changes, we're literally changing the design of Flagstone as we go. It's still in a very, very fluid state right now. We haven't hit the alpha state, which is technically where you have a kind of a full playable game, even if it's not 100% complete. We've got a couple of big systems that we're still working on in the background to bring everything together. We've got, in order to hit what I would consider alpha, we have to have the heritage system finished, and the heritage system depends on the creature creator. And so those two systems, huh?
Creature creator will be next after the.
Yeah, creature creator is already in progress.
Oh,
I'm not ready to show that one on stream just yet because the design isn't quite there. But yeah, so the deal there is that we want all of the creatures to even the player characters are going to come out of this creature creator, right? So we want to use the same template for all creatures, and then you add on to that template with your flagstones and with your chakras and all of that, right? So,
right.
But as a baseline, I've got mechanics in there to cover a lot of things. But there's some more nuanced stuff that we're still trying to fix. Like which bonuses or which things give what bonuses to what. Just trying to figure out how it all works together, because these kind of systems, and Ivan, you can correct me on this one if I'm wrong, but these kind of systems, the interactions are not necessarily obvious.
Right, yeah.
Right. So
the implications.
Right. So I'll give you an example. Ivan has been pestering me all day about guns, and I don't want guns in the game particularly, right? But I don't want to stop the players who do. So if a player and if a group of players and their GM want to have guns in their campaign, that's up to them. The rules should support it, even if I don't include them as a weapon in the base canon of the world, right? So Ivan's been asking me about guns all day and like how they would happen, and I have this argument that like there wouldn't be a need for guns necessarily because magic would be so common that people would probably turn to magic as a way to overcome these basic issues, right? And it's like, okay, well, maybe they wouldn't be guns like we know them, but what would a gun look like in that environment? And it's like, okay, well, it would probably be some kind of magic device with a bunch of runes engraved on it that anybody could. Yeah, it could be a stick, but maybe go, well, a stick's not that comfortable. It's kind of hard to aim. So then you put a pistol grip on it, and you might end up with something that looks like a gun, but it is basically working off of runes, and the player is activating it with mana, but the runes are actually doing the work. And the interesting thing there is that the crafting system, as at least as it's planned and laid out, accommodates and interacts with the rune stuff to create a pretty interesting system, without us having to add a lot of additional rules. But it takes a little while to take a system from like a raw idea and to condense it down into something that has let's say, the least number of rules for the maximum amount of coverage. Right?
In a fantasy world, you will include guns.
In a fantasy world, the physics to create guns would still exist. Not, I'm going to add guns. I'm not going to add guns to the base game. I'm not going to do that. Right? But
it's a fantasy world, not an action movie.
I said I'm not going to do it. But I can't stop players from doing it, and players do want to do it. And a lot of it comes from wanting to play in a particular era or a particular time period, right? If you want to play a pirate campaign, you damn sure want cannons, because what the hell are pirates if they don't have cannons, right? What are pirates if they don't have a little pistol, right? You know, those kind of concepts go hand in hand, because the age of piracy was an age of gunpowder, right? If you want to play some British invaders, right? Which I don't know, some people really dig that stuff. The rules need to support it. Now, our campaign setting is set in a medieval era, at least technology-wise. It's a medieval era type world, right?
That's why I said that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I say I don't want guns, because it ruins that part of it doesn't ruin it, but it does mess with that part of the fantasy. But it's also a world where magic is common. That's the thing. It's a world where their medieval is not our medieval, right? Because let's say for example something simple. Let's say something simple. Farming. What would it look like if you could use mana to plow your field? What would it look like if you could use mana to enhance or fertilize your crops, essentially? You know, what would it look like if you didn't have to worry about drought because you could summon water? You know, what would your buildings look like if you could mold earth with magic? Would you even need to use trees? So there's all these questions, and it's a really rich playground to ask the big what if question, right? Because you can say it's not that magic is a substitute for everything. Magic is, in a sense, a alternate energy source. Let's call it that way. It's an alternate mechanism that we can't really wrap our head around.
Okay.
But in a world where it's common, right? A lot of the challenges and a lot of the things that we dealt with as humans in our world would be dealt with differently, right?
Right.
Simply because the need for the technologies that we invented didn't exist, or it was easier to meet that need using mana, right? Like, I'll give you a good example. Cooking. If you're if you have even a little bit of fire chakra active, right, then you can heat your own pan with a little bit of mana, right? And you could cook out when you're out hunting or whenever you're out camping. You could cook without ever building a fire, or you could light a fire without ever needing a flint and tinder, right?
Oh, right.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
I'm trying to imagine. So.
Yeah. Now, if you didn't have your fire chakra active, you might still need those tools, right? So figuring out like, and you know, Ivan made the point earlier about division of labor when we were talking about the gun thing, because in order to have guns in a mass-produced type setting, there's an entire supply chain that goes into them, right? Because you have to have the iron ore, and you have to have coal to smelt the iron, and you have to have coal to make the steel, and then you need charcoal for gunpowder, and you need sulfur, and you need potassium nitrate, and you need all these other things, and then you need the technology to make the springs, and you need to be able to do all this other precursor work, right? So there's like a whole lot of stuff that goes into it. So would those underlying structures even exist if you could supplant them with magic? Right? Like, what would mining look like? What would mining look like if you could do it with mana?
And not involve that many children as it did.
Right? Well,
So that's a good start.
It might be much safer. But see, now mechanically though, in the rules, if you look at let me get back over to general rules real quick, and you go to the rating things page. Let me get there. Down at the bottom of that, there's this units thing, right? Now, we just sat there and made new characters. And most of your characters' abilities fell within either the E, the D, and maybe the occasional bump up to C for one of them, right? So if you think about in terms of this, hello.
Yo, what up?
What up? Hey, just letting you know, you're welcome to hang out, but we are live on stream. If that makes you uncomfortable, just
Yeah, that's what
just
I
a
asked you in
warning.
DMs, but sure, I'll be here. No problem.
I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I didn't have my my other Discord window up. I've got Streamlabs and other stuff.
It's fine.
All right, welcome to the chat.
Hello,
man.
everyone.
Hello.
So on this, if you're E or D, you're only going to be doing, say, a max of tiles times 3, right? So if you're D rated, that's a max of, if it was DDD, that's 2d6 plus 2, so 2d6, 4, that's 12, 16, as a max of 16 tiles, you know, 5 foot per tile, 5 foot on a side, right? So, I mean, do the math, you know, about 600 feet, roughly 600 square feet, something like that. So I mean, that's the size of a small house, like a really small house, like a little.
Really small house.
No, like a little cottage house. That's the size of a cottage house, right? So if you're thinking about, like, you're going to do some spell that's going to plow the earth or whatever, it's going to cover the area of about a small cottage house, right? At default. So in a massive world, right, you're not talking about what your average person is really only going to be able to handle, like their farmstead, like maybe a 40-acre field or something like that. They're not going to be doing these big, massive 10,000-acre fucking farms, you know, just because the technology won't be there to support it. Now, when you get up to like the S ranked, it's talking in kilometers times 10, right? Now, that can be a really, really huge area, but the number of S ranked individuals or people who are capable of doing that and the cost of doing that is going to be extremely high.
Yeah, like, why not? First time.
So, but it is worth thinking about, like, what that would do to the technology. Another one that's really interesting is that so there's the fade crystals, right? And there's a difference between the fade crystals and fade seeds. So the crystals are actually physical objects. They occur naturally. They are essentially, what happens is mana becomes still, and then it crystallizes, and that becomes fade crystals. And then over time, it grows through accretion. And when it gets big enough, it acts like an antenna for mana, right? And it just starts doing weird stuff. And these areas where it's doing weird stuff is called a fade. Now, what the player gets out of it is whenever they clear out a fade, which is like I said, the primary purpose of the Adventurers Guild. They can drain that fade crystal and they get fade seeds. So that's where those come from, right? You beat the dungeon, you get the crystal, you drain the crystal, you get the fade seed, you power up your character, kind of thing. But a lot of your bigger kingdoms actually cultivate a fade crystal, right? It's there, they let it grow, but they use runes to kind of manipulate it so that it produces the output that they want. So a lot of your cities are going to be acting under the benefit of a fade, right? So reality might be slightly altered there. Maybe the weather's always good, or maybe the farming's always good, or maybe the fishing's always good. You know, like some big kind of overarching effect, right? Not something really super specific, but some general purpose utility. So Tabby, what have you been working on, man?
Sleeping.
That's a good thing to work on, right?
Yeah.
We just went through character creation for finished up one for Andrea, and we're just kind of kicking around talking about the world for a bit.
Cool. Let me share screen and see what I got. I'll show the others also, because why not? Basically stuck where I told you I was stuck.
Nice.
But you mentioned start with the big ones and go to smaller, right?
Right. Well, it's because I saw you like writing in all your villages and things like that. And you're gonna get lost in the details really quickly.
Okay. I'll put this one aside.
What's the scale on that? Hold on. What's this? Don't put it aside. Like, what's the scale on it? There's no reason to get rid of it.
It's a week of riding per square.
A week on horseback? So
yeah.
So about 150 miles?
No. A bit more.
180.
273.
Okay. 300 miles? What was 300 miles on horseback in a week? That's okay.
That's 50.
Yeah, I mean that's a long way.
Sorry.
You're hauling ass. Like 25 miles a day would be considered hauling ass by horseback.
By foot, right?
On horseback.
On horseback? No.
Your horse would die. It would. You'd run it to death.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I mean, unless you were changing mounts regularly, you'd run your horse to death inside of a day.
That sucks then. Well, I can make it smaller, technically.
Yeah. So
I have this handy thing up here.
A general rule of thumb used to be that about 12 to 12 and a half miles between villages.
Mm-hmm.
Or between 12 and 25, right? Like, so somewhere in that, because like 25 miles in a day is a blistering pace, right? 12 miles is doable, but you got to stay steady at it, right? And it's just like
12 miles.
Yeah, I mean, like you can go further than that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you could get out and run or jog or whatever. But if you're talking about a walking pace, that's the better measure, because your merchants and everything else are not going to be running. You know, So you find out like what's a comfortable pace on horseback or on foot per day, and you're going to wind up like depending on the area, somewhere between 12 and 25. It's not a huge distance.
Oh, 25 to 40.
100 miles a day for up to 3 days, and then just remember they're gonna die.
Yeah. Endurance horses, though, too.
Yeah, and that's on horseback. So 12 to 25 on foot, 25 to 40 on horseback. That's pretty reasonable.
It's important to take the time to get your horse in shape.
Right. It's time
So,
for a
let's say
montage.
35. Let's say 35. So 35 times 7 is 245.
Tiny.
So each box could be 245, or let's say they get a day off.
Tiny.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
I could go for 40 times 6 instead of 35 times 7.
yes, Andrea.
It's 240.
Why are you not using griffons? Or why? How is the word in English?
Oh, griffins.
Yeah.
Well, he's talking about his map, not mine.
Oh. Okay.
Also, she, they, by the way. Sorry.
Sheep. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Not doing any voice modulation or anything.
Yeah, so I mean, as long as you've got your scale there, because if you put villages more than a day away from each other, then it's really hard for them to call for help, kind of thing. And then that's where you run into places for bandits and stuff like that. But those villages would tend to be small and don't necessarily need to be represented on your map, right? You really only need to hit the high points.
See.
So
not this, I guess.
Not unless it's a major city for some reason. Right?
No, this is a major city.
Right. Like, yeah. So put your major cities in there. Even show your roads, and like if you're on this scale, showing one or two of the major, the next scale down larger cities in the chain is perfectly fine. But otherwise, it starts to get really noisy.
I need to bring this up. Let's see how much. Yeah, I mean, noise is my middle name. So. Oh, that's much longer. Never mind.
Yeah.
Let's make this the other way, like 22 segments. That should be enough, right?
Yeah, that's decent.
222.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah. So what are you building? You're building your world for D&D 5e?
Yeah.
Yeah. Boo, down with Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah. But I mean,
as a rival, I'm pretty much obligated to say that.
Mm-hmm.
No, they've done good work, but I don't like their. I haven't really enjoyed their content since like third and a half edition.
I see.
Okay, so I'm moving back to Flagstone.
How much was it? 22. Okay.
But yeah, so we were talking about like how having magic as part of the world is going to influence the way technology would progress. And I feel like, personally, I feel like this is something that's underrepresented most of the time in books that have any kind of magic system. Like they don't even
36
either.
miles. Sorry.
Either they present it as magic is only used by a very, very few people and thus it can't be used for much of anything, or I don't know. There's never, if it goes the other way, if it goes where magic is common or relatively common, you still don't, for some reason, you don't see a lot of magical usage. I think one of the interesting ones was Avatar, because you saw a lot more of it there with the elemental bending.
The
And it did
show or the TTRPG?
the show.
Show.
Did they make a TTRPG for that?
Yep, they're working on it at the very least.
Oh, cool. Well, good luck to them. It's a good. They have good source material. You know what I mean? Like that was they had a really good source material for that. But in Duende, there's a couple of things going on that are really weird. One of them is that the world is caught between reality and the dream, right? So things are kind of just popping into existence sometimes, which can create interesting problems. And that's part of why the Adventurers Guild is there. They're there to handle those kind of weirdnesses. But the world is really, really big, so some of this stuff goes on and nobody's around to see it. Right? And so then, pretty soon you might have a thriving herd of T-Rex sized cats or something, or spiders or something rolling around the forest, and now you got big problems and you have to call in the Adventurers Guild. Crickets. What is that? There we go. Andrea got all quiet on me.
Yeah, I just switched the lives, but I saw blue.
I'm kind of thinking Bama's going to be home here in like 20 minutes. That'll be nice.
It will be home in 20 minutes.
Oh, it'll be noon here. Yeah, we're in Central. We're in Central Standard, so.
Well, it will be 8 p.m. for me soon. Too.
Right. So, Ivan, why don't give us the outline again for the rune system, because I think people listening would actually be very interested in hearing that, what we've got in mind there.
I was actually working on that. Because I was phased out. The rune system is basically designed to work very similar to the magic system we have. So it's not something new altogether and scary. I think the main point of it would be that most of the time the runes would act like enhancers to the abilities that a wielder would have, or in a way allow us to create even magical items that can even use one ability on their own. So that's nice to have. And basically it just gives more tools for the game and the story and the gameplay as well.
So it's going to follow the same kind of procedural processes that the ability crafting system does, but it's going to focus on slightly different aspects of it. The general concept there is that we're going to have you'll be able to set up a trigger out of a collection of possible triggers, and then you can have some sequence of effects that happen, and the glyph will be part of the making the imbue mechanics permanent. So you'll have the ability to, say, research a spell, and then create a glyph for that spell and put it on your weapon or on your armor so that whenever you activate a trigger, you can trigger that spell. There's a bit more to it than that, but yeah, we're looking forward to that. I'm just waiting. There's a part of me that's actually really nervous about releasing a game that's got this much flexibility because players are players, and players are going to do the thing that players do.
Yeah.
You know, like
Min-maxing the shit out of anything that is there.
oh, look, min-maxing is the least of my concerns. You know, like I think
breaking.
No, I mean, like, I think that whenever we get to the point where we're doing live play or the official play, that unfortunately we're going to have to be moderating what people are putting out for content.
Right. Yeah.
Just to keep it family friendly. You know, or at least put those sectioned off, because man, I really, really do not think there's anything good about having some mother call me about their 13-year-old reading something on our website and raising all sorts of hell or trying to sue, or, you know, like, oh my God, no, like, just keep stuff sectioned off there a little bit.
Or you can just say there is an external branch of the company there in Eastern Europe. Good luck suing them. We are outsourcing this material. It's not our proprietary.
No, I mean, just even as a brand, though, right? Like, even as a brand, like, it's not, you know, players need to realize that, I think that it's not so much that the developers care what you do with your game and your content at your table, right? Y'all go do you, have fun, right? But there's a difference between that and what we put out as canon publicly, because we have to be respectful of the fact that not everybody wants to have a lot of particular content rubbed in their face, like whether it's hypersexualized content or whatever. And I think there's some validity in keeping stuff segmented off so that those who want to see it can see it, but those who don't want to see it don't have to see it, and those who are unaware of it don't necessarily have to be aware of it unless they go looking for it. Right? Like, I don't want to control what they see. I just want to make sure that we be respectful as we can, in regards to all of that. Just from a brand standpoint, like it doesn't make sense to, from a business standpoint, and especially as a game, right? Like, understand whenever I say this is that if you are a game, you have ERB ratings, right? And in Europe, it may not be ERB, but it'll be something along the same lines, where if your content contains X amount of this, that, or the other, then your rating goes up, and you get to a certain point, and then a minor can no longer buy your product, right? And then, but even before that, you'll get to a point where parents will not buy that product for their kids, right? And a lot of your tabletop, the people who have time to play tabletop RPGs and the interest tend to be teenagers, right? Somewhere between 15 up to, there's a lot of older players because we grew up with them, but the interest seems to start somewhere around 15 predominantly. So you don't want to piss off parents too bad. You can handle a little controversy, but you don't necessarily want to be, just constantly in their face with everything. We are intending to handle mature topics, but I'd like for the conversation around them to stay somewhat mature. But then again, like I said, the audience that's going to be talking or predominantly generating content is not typically what people would consider mature. That's why we call them teenagers, right? So, I'm sure there'll be no shortage of your mom jokes and things like that have to get moderated out or whatever if it gets that bad. Especially as litigious as our society is. Look, you laugh, but you can actually get arrested in the UK. You can be arrested for it. Like it's a serious thing for companies now, man. Like it's a really serious thing for companies, and people are so easily offended. And the way the laws are written in some of these places is if you offend them, then they can sue you for harm, right? And so you can get sued back into the damn Stone Age.
That's why I was not joking about the saying you outsource it to the East. You know how big torrent sites work because everybody would be against them, but they're in Russia, so good luck suing them.
Right. Yeah, this cancel culture thing's become a nightmare. Like if you're any kind of publisher, right? And it's probably the one thing that I'm nervous about whenever it comes to Recriva Studios opening up its doors potentially as at least in part as publishing for part of its business model, is because then you open up the door for lawsuits for damn near anything. And so, now if you're acting as and here's the weird part, right? If you're acting as a platform, right, you have to moderate some stuff by law, right? Or at least put in a barrier, right? No, I mean like a barrier. Like if your content is hitting certain topics and stuff, then you have to have a wall that says you must be 13 years or older to access this, or you must be 18 years or older to access this.
Yeah, basically like the disclaimers. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Well, and it depends because depending on content, like we're not trying to get this far, but like depending on content, it doesn't just require the disclaimer; it requires some kind of verification. Like they have to give you a credit card number or a credit card or something so that you can verify.
Is that a thing in
that is a thing.
I just heard it in China and it was very frowned upon.
Well, they've changed to different types of verification. Normally what people are doing now is they're verifying through your Google or through your Facebook somewhere else where you verified some other way. Like, so Google will verify by your phone number, right? And if you try to do Google Pay, they'll take your card number and, you have to have all the information in order to get that verified. But then when you go to the next website and you log in using Google, the next website doesn't get all the information. Google just tells you that you're verified for this, that, or the other, right? So it doesn't have to pass everything. So that's something that's probably coming more. And, I wouldn't be surprised if we tap into like the Google login as well at some point just to synchronize stuff, or I don't know. We'll have to figure that out when we get there. But there's still, you have to have.
It's a bit dystopian.
It's annoying, man. It's annoying. You would think that you could publish, say, just write a book and publish a book, and that would be cool. But I mean, for fuck's sake, Wizards of the Coast got sued because people thought their dark elf content was racist.
You're saying we can't use the F word in the short stories.
I'm saying that I fully expect that our content would be classified up to like probably PG-13 or R or mature by the ERB standards, and I'm okay with that because you're talking about combat and fighting and whatever else. And but well, then there's also the part that says that we can't control what the GMs create, because remember, there's feedback. It's not just what we write; it's what the GMs write, and we can't be responsible for that. So, there's I don't know. So it's weird. You have to find an ethical stance somewhere, right?
17 is the
Huh?
rating. 17 is the rating.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of the audience that I'm writing for, but I'm not really trying to be gratuitous with anything, at least in the canon writing, I've seen some games that tend to go too far, I think, in my opinion.
That's a topic to discuss, I guess, when we reach that point of the short stories actually coming out.
Right. Now, look, my thought on it is that we're writing for the 17-year-old audience, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if the person writing wants to write something that's not appropriate for 18 plus, then they can go into an NSFW category and they can write and sell whatever they want, but it stays segmented out from the main population, right? And that's something that we can gate. It's something that parents can gate. Like if they want to create an account for their 13-year-old kid and they're going to sign up for it or whatever, then the parent can control access to it, right? Because at least then it's on them. It's, and they have a responsibility to manage what they see and what they do. And our responsibility is primarily just to make sure that those tools are there.
Right.
Because I don't. Here's the short and long of it: is if people are going to make whatever people make. I don't think that we want our brand associated with like what essentially amounts to porn. Like that's not where
I
we're
was
going.
actually checking that right now. I look like House of Dragon, the sequel after Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
And that was far more tamer than Game of Thrones. It had far little sexual stuff. Like it was more family friendly. And I checked that for the US, and it's rated as TV mature. That's 18 plus, I guess, right?
Right. Well, mature is yeah.
But doesn't have too much of sexual stuff at all. It's like pretty family friendly.
Right.
That's scary a bit.
Yeah, but and again, like, and this is no offense meant to anybody, right? Because it's just the way things are. But if you get a bunch of horny teens writing articles or writing stories to sell, they're going to sexualize it. That's what they do, right? And the evidence is all out there. I'm not saying anything earth-shattering about it. And if they want to have a place to do that, I have no problem with that at all. I don't think we want it on the website. I don't think we want it on our brand, right? If they want to go make their own little fan site somewhere and write whatever they want to write, more power to them. But I don't personally think that would bode well for the company.
Yeah.
Right? Like it wouldn't be a good business decision. It might be an easy money decision. It might be a fast money decision, but it would not be a sustainable decision in the long term.
Indeed.
It's a scary topic.
Well, like people don't think about it. Like most people take it for granted, or they don't think about it at all, right? More than likely, other than to say, why can't I do the thing that I want to do? Right. That's normally where most people leave it. And the short answer is, well, because it's not all about you, pussycat. Like there's other people that are involved too, and other people may have a different opinion on what should be allowed than you do, and we have to try to offer the best and broadest accommodation that we can to the largest demographic that we can, because we're a business first and foremost, right? Even though we love what we're doing and we love the world and all that, at the end of the day, we would like to be able to make a living doing this. And in order to do that, we have to make money, right? And if we want to make money, then we can't be alienating parents and all of that. So I don't know what you sending me. Yeah, the ESRB content. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Still an interesting.
Oh,
Because
no,
like
it's
the way
tiny.
the way I see it, like it sounds a bit simple, but I see where exactly are the lines. That's the thing. Like I'm looking right now, it looks scary. I'm looking for the US specifically, like Baldur's Gate, right, which does have indeed sexual content, but it's nothing around that. It's rated as mature as well. So I think that most of the fantasy stuff now would be rated as that.
Because it's not just the sexual content, it's the graphic violence, it's
Exactly.
all sorts of things, right? Profanity, drug use,
yeah, exactly.
topics that make people uncomfortable. Like if you were to talk about racism, or you talk about slavery, or you talk about any of that stuff, right? Like all of that bumps your rating up. And as a business, yeah, it's a very serious thing. It's a very serious thing for us, because once you get over certain ratings, then you get limited viewership.
It's really, I mean, again, if things like Baldur's Gate and Game of Thrones and stuff, oh, no, not Game of Thrones, like
Well,
House of
just
Dragon are rated as mature, that's
Just just consider the fact that if you're on Steam and they want to show you a mature game, they have to ask you to verify your age first.
but there is a workaround around that.
They won't even show you the ad.
All right.
So think about what that means if you're a developer or a publisher and you're wanting to put your game out into the market. If they won't even show your ad to anyone who can't pass the age verification, then anybody who's under the age of 18 is effectively off limits, right, as a customer, right, which includes the largest demographic of players who have the time and the interest to playing the game, especially for new adopters, right? And this is a side of game design that a lot of players don't want to think about, because it is a business, right? And it's not that we're trying to be scummy about what we do, right? Quite the opposite. We want to be very ethical about what we do. But that may mean making decisions that piss off a certain selection of the population, right? It's like for the players who are out there looking for their ERP, then they may have to just deal with their homebrew or do it on a private channel, or up their own private table or whatever, right? Because it won't be part of the public content.
Johnny,
Yo, what's up?
can we continue next Sunday?
Oh yeah, sure. We were just here chatting. Okay, guys. Actually, I'm running the stream, so you can drop out if you want. We're just sitting here talking, but if everybody wants to bounce out, we can just go back to Discord. I'm down with whatever. Actually, yeah, we'll cut it. We'll end the stream here, and I'll catch you guys in Discord. Thanks for listening, everybody. It's been great, and we will catch you guys next weekend. Later.